the script for login, right? But I don't have the objects. Yesterday, even though we have written, but that script has gone. I need to write. But that application is not available because the network is not available. That application is not available, not able to open up. But still, I need to write the script. Okay. So there are two options for you. One is we can go with the distributed programming, and second one is we can go with the object repository. Okay. So now assume that I still want to go with the object repository only, and I don't want to go with the descriptive programming. So normally, whenever we write the script by using object repository, storing the objects in the repository, we open object repository, either manager or object repository, and we click on add object, and then we try to add the object, right? And then that object will be added to the repository so that we can use this. Once the objects are added to the repository, we can use them in the script. That's what we have seen as of today, right? But unfortunately, that application is not available right now. And then, how we can add those objects to the repository is, what you can do is, instead of adding it, if the application is not available, you can create the objects directly, okay, with your own properties. How do you do that? Here, you can create your structure just by assumption, by assuming that by looking at the manual test case, or maybe if you have screenshots or something available. By looking at the objects, just assume that okay, this object may be in this hierarchy, or this object class might be this and that. Then you can create your own objects in the repository. How do you do that? Go to object in the repository and click on define new test object. Then here you can select web class object. Then first I need to define the browser. Browser object is not there. Then give the logical name. Okay, so logical name I am giving it as browser orange HRM. That application is not available, but I am just creating the browser object my own. Then name I am giving as orange HRM. And probably another identifier I will use as creation time 0. Okay, and click on add. You can see that object has been added to the repository now. And then what you can do is, okay, under this browser I need to define page object. So select this browser object and click on define new test object again. Then this time you select page object, then you can say PC orange HRM. Then you don't need to give any property for the page object, because only the reason why we don't use any property, you can use title property. Normally for browser you use name and creation time. For page normally we can use title property, but we don't need to use that also. The reason because in a browser, in one browser at a time there will be only one page. There won't be multiple pages. Okay, so if we can say that is a page object, that will be more than enough. We don't need to specify any property to identify the object. Until unless you say that okay, only that particular page should be there. Just consider that. Okay, out of all this, in this room, just consider project with the object. Now, how many projects exist at a time in this room? Only one project exists, not more than that. So in that case, what I can do is, when I want you to bring that particular project or something, then what I can say, I don't need to specify the properties of project, like company name or model name, something like that. What I can say, I can just go and get that particular project. That's enough, right? Because there is only one project available. If I just say that go and bring that project, that will be more than enough. I don't need to specify what kind of project it is, or what company it is, what brand it is, what color it is, and I don't need to tell. Because only one project is there. Just the class is enough. Whereas, if multiple projects are there, then this time I need to tell what, okay, go and build that project and what project it is, what color or what company or what brand or what model is, something like that. Right? So if there is only one is there, I just can tell the class that will be more than enough. Class, that class name of the object. If more than one object is there, probably class name is not sufficient. Probably we need to use properties. Okay, we need to use properties and all. So since there will be only one page object exists in a browser at a time, then I'm just giving the class here, page, that's it. And I'm not giving any properties for that. Click on add. So you can see page object has been added. Okay. Then what you can do is again define new object where, and this time I need to web edit, and then you can say txt username, and probably you can use the name. And right now, since objects are not available in the application or application is not available, you can use dummy property value just by assumption you can give. And later, once the application is up, once the application is available, you can spy on those objects and then update the property values if you want. Then you can say txt username, HTML tag is input, and then you can say another web edit is txt password. Then you can say txt password and HTML tag is input. And then this time I need to add web button and just begin login. Name is, what's the name? Same thing, right? Begin login or login. Something like that, just let it be now as of now. And HTML tag is input again. Click on add. You can see the objects are keep adding here. And then you need to add the link saying that welcome link. Right? Welcome something. Then yesterday we have seen that text is like welcome dot star dot, because the text will be keep changing. So that's the reason we have used the expressions today. That's okay. Or you can parameterize the property value also. HTML tag is A for the link. So you can see the objects have been created in the repository. Then you can save it. Just creating one more folder called learning. In that, I will just say repository. No? Okay. Now I want to write the script. So what you can do is first associate that repository whatever has been created. Go to associate repositories window and then add that particular object. Click on OK. Okay. Now there is one more thing that you need to know is here. Say when I associate this repository, right? When you look at this, the path, it has given the entire path, absolute path here. But when I associate the repository in this approach, and this generates the absolute path here. Right? This generates the absolute path. But this absolute path may be changing from one system to another system. It's not like same path that we follow in other systems. Now assume that scripts will be executed in different systems, and the root path of the automation, like all your framework, repositories or everything, whatever it is, may be copied to a different folder than the path whatever we have given to. So this path will be regularly changing. So in case if the path gets changed, tool will not be able to locate this particular repository. In every system, the repository should be copied to the same path that whatever. It should be the same path. It should have a D drive. It should have UFT folder inside the D drive. It should have learning folder inside it. It should have a repository folder inside it. And then it should be RSHRM TSM. So it should be the same absolute path in every system. In case if you copy to this repository in your system, and if you copy to a different folder, like instead of repository, you might have created like repositories, or instead of D, you might have copied to E drive, right? So that will be a little difficult for us. Then in this case, how can we manage these kind of paths here? Okay. Then what you can do is, when you are managing, when the path is changing, there are two options. One is get the path dynamically during the runtime, or second option is, okay, go to tools, options, and in the GUI testing, can you see there is something called folders here? Okay. So these folders normally use it to manage the relative paths. What is mean by relative path here? Now if you say, okay, associate repositories, this is completely absolute path, right? Then this could be relative path. So relative path might be changing for that particular repository every time. Relative path might be changing for that repository every time. So in that case, what you can do is, instead of giving the absolute path completely, all possible relative paths, whatever are possible, can be stored here. All the relative paths can be stored in the folder section. Now, one of the relative path is, okay, repository might be in this folder, or in other system, maybe it could be in D drive, UFT repositories. Okay, this folder is not available, but you can still add it. In case if it is available, it will take it. And another folder could be you might have used object repositories folder, somewhere like this. Now, you can also add different repositories if you want. You can detail something like that. Now, add all possible relative paths here, and then in the associate repositories, you can just give name of the repository. Now what happens is here, whenever you give only the name of the repository, very first thing that what it will do, instead of taking repository directly, first it will go to this particular folder section here. It will try to find out the repository in this folder first. If the repository is not available in this folder, it will try to search for the repository in this folder. If this is also not available here also, then it will try to find out here. If it is not available here, it will try to find out here. So that means, okay, instead of giving only one path, when you give absolute path, that will be the same path in every system. But if you manage like this, if you can give alternate paths like relative paths like this, then you can just give only name. Then now it will not search in one folder, it will search in all the folders. If not in first folder, it will go to the second folder. If it is not in second folder, it will search in third folder. If it is not there in any of these folders, then it will throw the error saying that unable to find the repository, something like that. That's what I am saying. So in case if the path is changing regularly on system to system, one of the options that what we have is add all the relative paths. How your path is changing from system to system, add all possible relative paths here and give only the name of the repository or function library also in the settings. If you give only name of the file, then it will automatically search for that file in all these paths. Okay, so this is also one of the important thing to know. In case if the path gets changed, what will you do? Then what we can do is, okay, there are two options. One is by using script we can manage dynamically, or second one is, we can add all possible relative paths in folders section there. Okay, then we will give only name of the file in the associate repositories or name of the file in settings for the function library. So when we give only name of the file, then it will automatically search in all these folders, whatever I have added in repositories. Folders section. So this is called managing the relative paths. Okay, because when the path gets changed, relative path will be changing. Absolute path, name of the file will not be changing, but paths will be relative paths of that file will be keep changing. So add all possible relative paths here. Then you can ask UFT saying that, okay, path is not constant here, path might be changing. I have given all possible relative paths here. Then go and search for the file in all these paths. You may find that file in any of the paths that whatever we have given. Got what I am saying? That's it. Then use the name here. Let's skip. Here username equals to data table dot value of username comma dd global sheet. Here password equals to data table dot value of password comma dd global sheet. Then you have launched the browser. Now what I have to do is, whenever I launch the browser, right, with this URL, before I log in, before I enter the username, password or any other thing, the basic criteria, is, as soon as I launch the browser, it has to launch RNHRM browser. So if that browser exists, then only we will be able to enter the username, we will be able to enter the password and all, right? We will be able to perform the action. In case if the browser does not exist, then we will not be able to perform those actions. And there is no point of continuing with the execution. When the browser does not exist, then obviously I will not be able to perform any of the steps, right? So as soon as I launch the browser, the first thing that what we should do is, we need to verify whether that browser has been launched or not. How do we do that? Then we need to check whether that browser exists or not, RNHRM browser. How do we do? Yesterday we have understood one method called exist. Exist method is used to check whether a particular object is present or particular object is exist or not. Then what will you do here? You say browser dot, sorry, you don't need page dot exist. If the browser exists, or exist, you can give seconds also, how much time it has to wait. By default, when you say dot exist, it will wait for 20 seconds. If the object, whatever the object you have given here for exist, if that object doesn't exist immediately, then it will not fail that immediately, it will not return as false immediately. It will wait for 20 seconds. Within 20 seconds, object can exist anytime. That's a default synchronization timeout. Object synchronization timeout. Okay. So when you use exist, yesterday I have told that, then you can write down that node below for that existing. Just write down exist method is used to check whether an object is exist or not. Then note is below. In case if that object doesn't exist, yes, if the object doesn't exist, it will wait for 20 seconds by default, so that object can exist within 20 seconds anytime. Okay, so that is the default. Or you can change this default setting also. How do we do that? Go to File, Settings, and in the settings, if you go to Run tab here, I'll just let me repeat here. Go to File, Settings, Run, and you can see there is something called Object Synchronization Timeout as 20 seconds. But if you can change if you want. So if you change here, whenever you use the exist method, it will take that much time maximum. If that object exists in 2 seconds, fine, it will immediately continue with the next second itself. If the object doesn't exist, maximum it will wait is 20 seconds, but it depends on the setting again. Default is 20 seconds they have given, but you can change it if you want. At the same time, now when you change the setting there, that is applicable everywhere in the remaining piece of code also. But certain situations, what I say is, okay, some objects might be faster in existence. Only this particular object may take little extra time to exist. Not just in 20 seconds. It may only this object may take 30 seconds or 40 seconds like that. So just for one object, you don't need to go and change the setting there. You should not do that. So what you can do is, if this object is expected to display little or expected little time, or it takes little time, then what you can do is, for this exist, you can give some seconds. Exist of 40. That is optional. If you don't give anything, it's maximum 20 seconds. But if you say that it may take maximum 40 seconds, then you can give exist of 40. Exist of 40 means, okay, object may exist within 40 seconds anytime. Object may exist within 40 seconds anytime. Okay, if it exists in 5 seconds, in the next 60 seconds itself, it will continue. Maximum is 40 seconds. So like this, exist will accept the timeout. You can increase more also. So if you have to give time in seconds, okay, if it is taking 1 minute, you can use 60. Exist of 60, like that. Getting what I am saying here? Now, if this browser exists, then that step is passed. Launch browser step is passed. If the browser does not exist, the launch browser step is failed. Right? Then, till now, whenever we have written the script, to see whether it is passed or failed or output, what we did, we are using message box as of now. But as I told, we should not use message box while writing the scripts. The reason why we should not use message box, because when the message box displays, then it will stop the execution, it will halt the execution there, and will not continue till you close the message box. If you don't close the message box, it will be there at the same line. And at the same time, normally, when we are running the automation scripts, or we are doing testing here, right? It's not like just we are running the script, but actually we are doing the testing. So when we are doing testing, all the results should be recorded properly, right? Whatever the steps we have executed, what steps have been failed, what steps have been passed, and all, I should get one log at the end, and then I need to share this log with different people. Okay, I need to share the log with the different people. Then instead of message box, how can I get the log? I need to write the pause or fail statement to the report this time. Okay, so write down. The method we use for report is reported.report event. Reporter is one object here. Report event is a method for that particular object. But anyway, continue to write the reporter.report event. Reporter.report event. This method is used to write the report to you can say write the log or write the anything report. Report or statement, anything is fine. So the UFT default reporter. Log, reporter log. Okay. Now, for this report event, total 4 inputs or 4 arguments you can provide. Out of 4, 1 argument is optional. 1 argument, the last argument is optional here. The 4 arguments are like this. First argument is status, pass or fail or warning that you are providing, whatever it is. Then normally you can see the possibility here, status, 4 possible statuses are there. So there is something called make pass. Make pass in the sense we are writing pass statement. Make fail in the sense you are writing fail statement. Then make done means you are passing some information. Make warning means you are providing some warning message, some kind of alert that you are providing. You need to select either one here, or you can also provide 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. 0 for pass, 1 for fail, 2 for warning, 3 for done. Like that you can provide 0 to 3 you can provide, or you can say make pass or make fail or something. Remember, when you are writing make pass or make fail or something, you should not write in double quotes. It should be like a variable. That is a constant variable they have given. When you give make pass without double quote as a variable, it will automatically consider that as a pass. Okay, inside that make pass, it will replace with 0. The second argument is name of the step. What is the step that we have executed? That is the second argument. First argument is status. Second argument is name of the step that whatever we have executed. Step name is the second argument. Then what is the step that we have executed here? Say launch browser. That is the step that we have performed. Next, details. In a sense, the actual result you can provide here. What is the actual result happened exactly? If that browser exists, then what will be the actual result? Browser has been launched. If it is not exist, then actual result should be, you can say browser has not been launched. So since we are writing inside the condition browser exists here, you can write say browser has been launched. These 3 are mandatory arguments you must have to provide. And the last argument is screenshot. If you want to provide the screenshot of that particular page or anything for that validation, then what you can do, you can capture the screenshot of the application and save the screenshot in local system, and you can do the path of that particular screenshot. So that screenshot will be automatically displayed in the report window for that particular step. So this is optional. Providing the screenshot is optional. Only if you feel that it's a mandatory or it's very much required, then you can give that. So for this, you need to give the absolute part of the screenshot in the local system. Okay, screenshot must be in the local system. But once you add a screenshot to the report, then it's not mandatory, it's not required to be in the local system. It will embed in the report. Okay, since we are not taking any screenshot, I am not giving any value for the fourth argument. Got what I am saying? So reporter.report event is used to write the log. Okay, write the log in the reporter window. So you can write a pass statement, or you can write fail statement, or you can write warning, or anything that you want in the message. And there are four arguments. One is the status, second one is the name of the step, third one is the actual result, and fourth one is the screenshot. Screenshot is optional, remaining three are mandatory. Then you say else. In case if that doesn't exist, do a thing. Then report event make fail. If that doesn't exist, then it should be fail. So that I am giving as make fail. So it was not launched. Alright. Then, in case if the browser does not exist, can we perform remaining steps? We will not be able to perform remaining steps. So there is no point of continuing with the execution. Then, what should I do here? In case if the browser doesn't exist, write a print statement saying that the browser has not been launched or browser was not launched, and then we cannot continue. Then what should I do now? I need to stop the execution here. I need to ask my script saying that, okay, if I don't continue with the execution, it will stop here because the precondition is not satisfied to continue with the remaining steps. But how do we stop the execution? We have something called exit run. We have something called exit run. Zero transfer, immediate exit. Immediate exit. Then you also have something called exit action. Exit action means it will come out of the current action. It will move to the next action. That's what exit action. Say for example, you see you have two actions in the test, and in case if this condition fails, remaining piece of code in this action cannot be executed, but action 2 can be executed. In this case, what you can do? If you say exit action, only from the current action it will come out and it will move to the next action in the test. That's what exit action means. Okay. When I say exit test here, it will come out of the test completely. So exit run or exit test, almost same. It will come out on the test. When it comes out of the test, that means it will completely stop the execution for that particular. At the same time, you have something called exit test iteration. Wait for some more time to understand this exit test iteration. Because when we use multiple rows in the global data sheet, and script will be executed very many times. If first iteration has got some problem, if you want to skip only the first iteration and you have to move to the second iteration and then execute, then you can use exit test iteration. Okay, iteration is nothing but when I add 3 rows in the data table, if first row has got 3, it will execute for 3 times. Each time is nothing but 3 iterations. Sorry, each time, each iteration is important. So 3 rows, 3 iterations it will be. First time first row, second time second row, third time third row. Okay. In case first row has got the problem, middle of the execution, when you say exit test iteration, it will skip that first row, it will move to the second row and start executing for second row. If second row has got the problem, it will skip that second row, move to the third row and then execute. That's what the exit test iteration means. So since we have not discussed about the data table methods and all, we are moving to the table methods and all in the next session. Okay, so we don't need to understand exit test iteration and all as of now. Okay, so what you can do, either you can use exit test or you can use exit run. Okay, and let's see, do we have anything called stop? But we don't have anything called stop here. I mean, stop is a keyword, but it means in a different way. So we can use exit run. So exit run is used to stop the execution, come out of the run for this particular test. That's what I'm saying. What I'm doing here now. Okay, first I'm launching the browser. In case, okay, so after launching the browser, I'm not directly continuing with remaining actions. So what I'm doing, so after launching the browser, I have a validation here. Validation is that the browser should be launched. Orange HRM browser should be launched. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm just checking if the browser orange HRM exists within 40 seconds, then pass that particular statement. Saying, okay, browser has been launched. In case if the browser does not exist in 40 seconds, then come to the else here in the statement saying that the browser was not launched and I'm not able to continue with the script, and then what you can do is you can stop the execution. See, remember one thing, whenever you are writing the script, right, for everything you have to, perform the validation, not only just the action that you perform. So for every action, there will be some precondition and post condition. So before you perform the action, you have to see whether the preconditions are satisfied or not. That is the first thing. After performing action, you have to see that post condition is exist or not. Okay. For launching the browser, precondition may not be required, but after launching the browser, post condition is browser should be launched and validated that post condition. Okay. Next is here. Now I need to just assume that the browser has been launched. So it will be here, and then it will write a pass statement and it will not come out of the execution. Understand what I am saying here? Yes. 0 seconds. I mean immediate execution. Immediate execution. Not execution. Immediate. Okay. That is optional. You don't need to give that. Okay. Then. So now I need to enter, assume that the browser has been launched. It has written the pass statement, and then it will come out of the condition and it will start executing remaining. Then you can say browser dot page dot web edit text username dot set. But if you see here, the browser and page, I need to rewrite again and again. Right? Again and again, I need to write. So for password also, it will be browser dot page dot web edit as password. For login button again, browser dot page dot login button. Then for remaining steps, to validate the welcome link on the browser dot page dot link. Almost I need to rewrite the same browser and same page object every time for every line. For every line I need to write it. So in that case, instead of writing that and making your line very lengthy every time, okay, then what you can do is just take that object, whatever the object which is repeated in the hierarchy, take that object out. Then what you can do is to reduce the length of the line every time. You have two options here. Take that object to a variable, assign the top sequence to a variable, and use this variable every time. say page your username. Then you can say page dot web edit of txt password dot set. So this is one way. You can reduce the length of the line, every line, or instead of repeating the object again and again, take that into once. The other way is, there is one more way is, there is something called with statement. You can use something called with statement. So what you can do is, with browser that page, okay, so you can say with and end with dot web edit of txt username dot set str username. Now what happens is, what is with means, whatever I write inside with statement, then this piece of line or code will be appended with whatever I have written in the line or wherever I have used it. So that means with this append every line whatever I have written. So if I say dot here, this will be appended or executed along with this whatever I have written here. So if that object is repeating multiple times, you can say with that object inside it, you can write the remaining steps. So that means that whatever I have written inside this, execute those steps along with the object whatever I have written here. There are two options you have. The first one is append that object to a variable, append that object to a variable, object reference to a variable. Then whenever that object is repeated, then use that variable. That is one option. Or second option is use with statement, and whenever use with statement, and inside that with statement write the remaining lines, whatever the lines to be executed on the particular object. Okay, two options you have. Okay, either one you can choose. You can choose variable or you can choose variable. But when you say this page, right, page object, browser and page object, we will not be using only in this action. We will be using this page object in different actions or different tests. So when you use this variable instance, then you can make it as global across all the scripts. But not like this, in a different way you can do it. We will discuss that little later. But when you use this will work only within this action. In the next action again you will need to write with statement. One more thing. Got what I am saying here? So you will understand it slowly. But all of that scripting techniques in the UFT. Then dot web edit txt password dot set or set secure you can use, but I am directly giving the password here, so I am using set as of now. Then you can say set password dot web button dot click. If now one of the drawback is inside condition it doesn't work. Inside condition it doesn't work. Dot link dot exist. This is, let's see whether it will work or not. If object exists equal to true. Exist will return true or false, right? If that object exists, then what you can do is, you can say reporter.report event make pass. If this object exists, what does it mean? Login is successful. If that object does not exist, welcome object does not exist, login is not successful. And you can say make pass, log into, what is the step that we have performed? Log into application. You can say login is successful. Else, you can say reported dot report event make fail. You can say log into application. Okay, so login was not successful or unable to log into the application. We write some meaningful message which can be understandable by everybody. Okay, so login was not successful, unable to continue with the execution. You say exit, and you can give a blank also, you don't need to give a mandate. Okay. Now let the user start. Wait a moment, I'll tell you the reason why it should be still, even though network is not there, at least it should launch Chrome, right? And it should give a page cannot be found there. The reason it launched Explorer, because it has taken a blank. I have used the browser type, but actually I am taking it STR browser, not STR browser type. Earlier I used STR browser type in the system.com. So that was the reason why it did not launch the browser. Now you can see, but network is not available, so that it says that unable to connect to internet or something. So let it be as so now we will connect to the internet. Okay, but just understand that browser has not launched. It will wait for 40 seconds. The reason because we have given access of 40 there, right? So within 40 seconds, object may exist anytime. But okay, so let's wait. And then let it be remain same, not connected to the connection. Let's see what happens. If it is taking this much time to perform any of the steps, that means that there could be some problem in the step. Now the script has been stopped. Okay, so without executing remaining steps. And if you want to see the result, then go to view and you can see something called view logs and results here. And you can see it has been failed here. If you want to see what has been failed here, you can see a failed step called launch browser. And if you look at that, whatever the statement that you have given, browser was not launched. If you have given screenshot, then screenshot will come here. Okay? Got what I am saying? That was the report. Now write down one of the difference between your 12.5 and 12.02. That I told, right? One difference I told. What is the difference that I told? They have given parameterization option to launch the browser type can be parameterized in the record and transmission. That's what I told yesterday. And write down one more. In 12.5, they have given a new reporting format. HTML. That means that they have added one reporting format, HTML. In 12.02, so you can say default reporting format is inbuilt. Okay, so this is inbuilt, and now one more reporting format has been added, HTML. You can choose the option, inbuilt report format or HTML report format. Okay, so they have added HTML is the lightweight. They have added. Okay, so two types of reporting formats that they have given in the from 12.5. But in 12.02 till 12.02, we have only one reporting format option. But still, you can use report that report event only. But if you have selected HTML, you can select the option. Do you want normal reporting or do you want HTML report? If you select HTML report, it will display HTML file when you use your last results. When you use normal reporting, then it will open that window and then you will see that slowly. But this is one of the difference between 12.5 and 12.02. Okay.